Eddie Kalegi here with your WRSU Tuesday evening sportscast. The Big Ten leading Rutgers baseball team is now top 10 in the nation. The 8th-ranked Scarlet Knights extended their winning streak to 15 last weekend, nabbing 3 consecutive come-from-behind victories against the Indiana Hoosiers in the 8th inning or later, capped off by a walk-off home run from first baseman Jordan Sweeney to win on Easter Sunday matinee to secure a sweep. Today, the Knights ran the streak to 16, routing Iona 19-1 to improve to 31-6 on the season. Sweeney was dominant from the plate yet again, going deep twice.
Here's the 0-1 now. Sweeney. High fly ball, is it towards center field? It is going to be gone! Jordan Sweeney goes yard again. Back to back for number 32.
Rutgers continues the home slate tomorrow against Princeton and then face Iowa, another top team in the conference this weekend, as the Hawkeyes make the trip to Bainton Field for a 3-game set beginning Friday. Rutgers men's lacrosse is also stealing national headlines as the Scarlet Knights rose to number 4 in the country following a thrilling 13-12 victory Saturday against the Michigan Wolverines in Ann Arbor. Ronan Jacoby had a hat trick, including the game-winning tally with 3:44 left in the fourth quarter. Rutgers clinched a first-round bye in the upcoming Big Ten tournament and will close out their season on Senior Day this weekend at SHI Stadium against rival Penn State. Rutgers softball, in the midst of a 10-game losing streak, is currently facing off with the Maryland Terrapins in a doubleheader in College Park. The Knights currently trail 7-5 in the 6th inning of Game 1, following RBI singles from Kobe Hura and Peyton Linkavich to cut the deficit to 2. In the local area and the professional world, the Mets playing a doubleheader against the NL West leading San Francisco Giants. At last check, Game 1 is tied at 4 heading into the bottom of the 10th inning. Tyler McGill allowed 4 runs in the first 3 innings, but Francisco Lindor evened the score with a home run in the 6th. The Yankees, on the other hand, visit the Detroit Tigers tonight to kick off a 3-game series. Ace Garrett Cole takes the mound looking for his first win of the season. In the NHL, the Rangers host Winnipeg, and the Islanders face Florida in Nassau County. And finally, the NBA playoffs continue tonight as the Miami Heat, Minnesota Timberwolves, and Phoenix Suns all look to take 2-0 leads in their first-round playoff series. That's all for your WRSU Sportscast. I'm Eddie Kalegi. More of the WRSU Crew after the break. Here on 88.7 WRSU FM New Brunswick, Eddie Kalegi here. Rutgers women's basketball wins the regular season finale on the road in Illinois, 66-56. A big reason why Sayani Lassiter, 18 points, 4 threes. Sayani, you guys were able to get some scoring going, and a lot of it was from beyond the arc, and a lot of that was set up by some great passing. So can you talk about how you guys were able to stay in sync and kind of set up some great scoring opportunities throughout the game?
Yeah, I think we just stayed locked into the scout and just finding the open player. A lot of my shots was coming off of assists and being wide open, so I just think everybody looking out for each other and just finding the open man.
A lot of fouls for Illinois. You guys went 15 of 17 from the free throw line. Definitely got a lot of points from there. Talk about the importance of being able to draw fouls and get opportunities to score at the line and get some free points right there.
Yeah, I think just being able to drive, and Coach Eatman honed in, make sure it gets to the backside, make sure it gets to the basket, and not open up the shots on the outside. So when you get it inside, the outside's going to open up way more. So I think that's just how we were able to find each other and just get into the free throw line first.
So obviously Big Ten tournament coming up next. What does this win mean to you guys in terms of setting up some momentum heading into your first game in the Big Ten tourney?
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be good momentum for us coming in on a win, and just you earn the right to the next 40 minutes, so just keep playing hard and earn the next 40.
Well, Sayani, thanks for joining us. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the Tuesday Crew right here on 88.7 WRSU FM New Brunswick and online at WRSU.org. I'm Eddie Kalegi. We got Brett Hahn, Ellis Gordon, Jack Paseas here, Chris Sakonis, Amir Lighty, but we've got 2 special guests. We've got Gio Baker and Luke Nathan live in studio here in Studio A joining us today. 5-year veterans from Rutgers men's basketball. Gio and Luke, it's a privilege. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having us, man. We're excited.
And you mentioned entrepreneurship and how you value that so much. And something I know you've gotten, Gio, very interested in and very involved with over these past few weeks is the Rutgers fan community Discord server, which I'm actually a part of. And I know you and Eric LeGrand kind of spearheading that. So I kind of wanted to ask, what was the idea? What was the premise that led you to starting that? And just the development of that Discord community that's grown towards 2,000 members in just a few weeks.
Oh, man, it's been amazing.
We've got a brooch on this show. And I know Jack's been itching to get to it. Luke and Gio might not know, but we've got a big basketball game coming up at some point. That Amir's going to be in it too. WRSU against the Daily Targum, radio station versus the newspaper. And my first question, I got to go to Luke because I need some pro tips from a big man because I am a stealthy 5'10" and 130 pounds, yet the great Jack Bisea has drafted me as a power forward for the Daily Targum.
I'm locking Jack up.
So, Luke, how can I maximize my 5'10" stature as a power forward?
Being a 5'10" power forward would probably be kind of difficult, but my advice to you would be run the floor, use your quickness, and as soon as you get a rebound, pass it up, run, get to the paint.
Pass it up.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey, Eddie, you don't want him
can
shooting?
you play
You're
point
holding your
forward?
own.
Can you bring the ball up?
Yeah, I could try. I mean, I think I did pretty well when we went on Friday.
I thought you were pretty good.
Well, speaking of a series that's been marked by rough play and referees, the Warriors and the Grizzlies. Now, Memphis, without Ja Morant, completely dominated Golden State, had a 55-point lead at one point in the third quarter last night, and got the win. Now, something, first of all, that you have to say, and I know everybody's going to agree here, this does not mean that Ja Morant is a detriment to the Grizzlies just because they play really well when he's out.
No?
No. The thing... No. Okay. This team, what you have to do when you have a superstar that's out, and we very rarely see this in any sport, but the Grizzlies are good in this situation, when you're without your superstar, you have to fill the void and you have to see players take it to the next level. Desmond Bane does that. Jaren Jackson Jr. does that. Brandon Clark does that. When Ja Morant is out, those guys step to the forefront. And that is the reason the Grizzlies have been able to succeed. It's not that Ja Morant is bad and makes this team play worse than they actually are. It's because they are able to fill the void and fill the gap when Ja Morant is hurt. Games of this schedule. Boston College, they could win. Wagner and Temple should be wins. Iowa and Ohio State, they'll lose. But then Nebraska, Indiana, and then at Minnesota. Those are three winnable games for Rutgers. We know how well they play against Indiana, and they have, even when they've struggled in Big Ten play, even under Kyle Flood, they played well against Indiana. So I think that's a very winnable game, especially at SHI Stadium. Nebraska could be a challenge. I will give Ellis that point. They were 3-9 last year, but they lost almost all of their games by 10 or fewer points, and they nearly beat Oklahoma, nearly beat Ohio State. They just had a gauntlet of a schedule. So I don't know. But then the last four games are Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, and Maryland. There's the potential they could lose all four of those games. They are home against Penn State. They are home against Michigan. They have to go to Maryland. I think the two most important games on the schedule for Rutgers are going to be that first game at Boston College and that last game at Maryland, because those are road wins that you could really use to try to get into bowl eligibility, because home games against Iowa, Michigan, and Penn State, even if they're at home, are going to be very, very difficult to win. But I think there is a serious path. There are 7 legitimate winnable games on this schedule, maybe 8. And if they could get 6 of them, they're in a bowl. So I think there is reason to believe that Rutgers has a good chance. Okay. Now, we got to talk about a few things. First of all, Mets won the series. They were due for Carlos Carrasco to have a bad start. The Mets have won their first 6 series of the season. I'm not that concerned about them losing the game. Number 2. Before Nolan Arenado, it's not like this was unprecedented that they decided to throw up and in at Nolan Arenado. The night before, Pete Alonso got hit in the head with a pitch. The second time this month that Alonso has gotten hit in the head.
And that's wrong, absolutely.
Earlier in this game, Starling Marte gets hit. The last half inning, J.D. Davis gets hit on the foot, has to leave the game due to injury. So it was brewing. The Mets have been hit with 20 pitches in the first 19 games this season. They were due to throw one up and in. They threw it up and in at Arenado. And you know what? You got a brawl. It really wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't.
What I think was kind of annoying was the coach rolling on top of Pete Alonso and like tackling him, stubby clap. I mean, come on, really?
Well, it makes sense, stubby.
Pete Alonso wasn't even the aggressor, really. But you know what? I think it definitely was worth it for the Mets. You may not like the system. You may not like it in baseball that people try to hit other players often up and in. And I mean, I don't really like it, but you can't blame the Mets for being part of the system. The Cardinals had been throwing inside all series. That hit a couple of Mets players. The Mets' best player had been hit in the head with a pitch. One of the Mets' better hitters had already had to leave the game because of an injury. So no surprise that Nolan Arenado got thrown inside. And we've seen Nolan Arenado overreact before from being pitched up and in. Just look up up the Rockies-Padres brawl from 2017, and you'll see exactly that.
I think they'll take care of business.
Yeah, the Rutgers men's lacrosse team got a pretty favorable draw. Women's team, not as much. The men overall have had a better season than the women's, but as Dylan has said, the women's team, they've played consistently. I think they've been consistently better. The men's team might have the better record, but the women's team has looked better for longer spans of time this season in games. The thing is with them, though, they have had games where it's not just that they play poorly, it's like when they do, it kind of crashes and burns. I've seen two prime examples of this, not just Maryland, but Arizona State, who was a borderline top 25 team. The women's team had a 4-goal lead going into the fourth quarter, let it slip away, and lost that game in overtime. Arizona State had never beaten a Big Ten opponent before, or a ranked opponent, and they did accomplish both of those feats in one fell swoop against Rutgers. So that and the second half Rutgers team against Maryland, if that shows up, Rutgers women's lacrosse could be in a lot of trouble, but if the team that got them there does, I think they'll be fine. But if Steph Kelly is injured, that is a concern because she is the primary distributor for the team.